Alright guys and gals, here we are with today's project. We got the 71 Chevelle in the shop, the crown jewel, and we got a lot of odd and end stuff we need to do. Okay, so last time we were with this project, where were we? Okay, we were up here in the engine bay. Guys and gals notice anything different? We got rid of the blue. Alright. So we started wiring this thing, okay? And as a lot of you guys and gals will know with these older cars, sometimes the wiring over the years, it gets mutilated and cut up and yeah. So, the extent we're going with this car, we're not just going to use that wiring. We're going to get a different harness and rewire the whole thing. So, what we're going to concentrate on today is finishing up, adjusting our fenders, knocking our front end up, getting our grill in place, our rear bumper, and just doing odd and end stuff that we need to do to get this thing 100% ready to start getting it in paint. So we'll get it set up here, and we'll click you back on when we're ready. Alright guys and gals, here we are. We're going to try to get this fender lined up the best we can, make sure everything's gapped properly. There's a little trick for you. Okay, a lot of you guys and gals will see stir stick, regular old paint stick. That's what we use. It's 3/16 for gap. That's what I like to use. You know, and everybody's like, why don't you cut metal ones? Well, you don't want to kink these panels. This wood will give you a little forgiveness when you're jamming around on these brand new panels. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go through and loosen this stuff up so I can try to manipulate this fender to fit exactly the way we want. So we're going to go through this, and this might take a while, so it'll probably speed up the process for you. There's a bolt inside the door. The biggest advice I can give you when you're doing this, take your time, okay? This is a key step to making your car look good, okay? You don't want to do all this hard work, replace all this stuff, and then just slap this stuff on here and make it look like a jalopy, okay? So take your time. You know, this might take you a day, might take you 2 days, might take you a week, who knows? Whatever it takes, take the time now before you start painting everything and getting everything ready to be in final finish. So we're going to mess around with this fender a little more. We'll click you back on and show you what we get to. Alright guys and gals, well we got this drying because we're going to mock that up today too. See over here, try to clean this place up a little bit. Alright, let's check this out. So here's what we got. Now if you guys and gals remember, or if you've watched our past videos on the crown jewel, if not, go back and check them out. You'll see how we got to this point. But you'll see here, okay, in full disclosure, it took me like an hour to line this fender up this good. But you can see, worth it. Don't mind the dust there on there, that's from me trying to get this thing straight and everything else. Now, you will notice here, guys and gals, okay, look at that. Alright, you see this area right here? This is what you have to contend with aftermarket parts, okay? See how that gap's opened up there in that contour? I'm going to have to come in here and weld material in here, cut this maybe, slide it in so I have a consistent gap throughout. Now I will tell you, alright, and you'll notice on a lot of these cars, I like to leave the fender out just a hair, okay? And the reason I do that is for these doors to have a relief for when you're opening it. See how the door actually goes in on this car? Last thing you want when you shut your door is to bust your paint off your fender. So we got our door down. And we got a pretty decent fender gap. And see how, now you can see what I'm talking about with that. Yeah, that doesn't make me happy. We're going to get that straightened out, but now we know where we're at. See, this is why we mock things up, because if I would have painted this and just took for granted that all this stuff was awesome and amazing, and then found out after I painted it, oh baby, that would have been a whole nother mess. So we're going to go around the other side, get that one straightened out, and keep putting stuff on. All right, guys and gals, here's a prime example. We got some ingenuity going on here. It's a hydraulic body jack, ratchet strap to pull the fender down where it's supposed to go, ratchet strap to help pull it back where it's supposed to go. These are the things we got to do when we're by ourselves sometimes. But we got the gap looking half decent. But here we go. I'm trying to figure out why this is like this, okay? Here's my top hole. Let's see if I can get you in here. You see how far off that hole is? Oh yeah, problem found. So what I'm gonna end up having to do here is come in here and cut this off, extend this so it lines up with my piece, and reattach it, okay? Now, I don't want to do anything yet until I get the hood hinges on, the hood on, and see what's going on here. So, these are the things you'll run into, and sometimes you just gotta work through it. All right, and like I said, all these parts are aftermarket parts, so it's, it's just part of the struggle sometimes. But when a car is so rusty, that's your only choice. You go around trying to find NOS parts for these cars, good luck. All right, so we're gonna get that situated. We're gonna take that down where we got it for now, put our hood on, let's see what we got going on. We'll click you back on when we're ready. All right, guys and gals, we got that rassled into place there. What we got now is some dirty old hinges we're gonna put on. But, like I said, we're just mocking all this stuff up. We wanna triple, double, quadruple check ourselves before we start doing any kind of paint work. Because you don't wanna be modifying stuff after it's painted. Look at me, I'm awesome. I come over here with no tool. Ha! I did bring the hardware though, that's a plus. Okay. So hopefully that stays there, and if not, y'all will witness it fall and I'll be really mad and throw things. Okay. Stay. You thought I was coming the other way. Now this is a lot of adjustment for your hood, up and down, front to back, all that good stuff. It's in these hinges, so you don't want to go tightening anything down, hammering it home yet. Just get it snugged up so they still move around a little bit for you. Tool. Seal without the retainer clips. Okay. So, we're not going to put that on yet, obviously. That's awesome. We'll have to get them clips. That's no big deal. That stuff happens. That's how they get you. Come back. Alright. So, put that back in the bag. We're going to get our battery tray put in. We're going to get some more things put in the front end here. We're going to get this mocked up as much as we can. So we'll click you back on when we get to that point. Alright guys and gals, we got our battery tray. And here's an example of why we don't throw hardware away. Alright, these are specialty bolts that fit in there because it's a nutsert with a big old washer. Because if you see over there, those holes are pretty large. Because this battery tray fits, well, let's tell you here. Chevrolet, Chevelle, El Camino, Monte Carlo, Camaro. Yeah, a lot of things. So they have different provisions for different vehicles. You get this. Oh yeah, baby. Those two line up. That's nice. And then one in the core support. Half inch, please. Got my oldest here with me as usual. She's being helpful today. Very helpful getting this hood on, because I tell you what, I couldn't do it without her some days. This stuff, I just can't do it by myself. Look at this, half inch, huh? Got half inch with a quarter inch adapter, extension, and a ratchet. It'll work. Different ways to get into different places, you know what I mean? Some folks, different strokes. Now we will have to come back and cut these off because you don't want that in the bottom of your battery. That wouldn't be good. But like I said, we're just mocking stuff up. At least now I know I have the hardware I can use for when the time comes to put this in. All right, guys and gals, let's get this front end looking like a front end. Now these are original GM pieces here, okay? Original to the car, because that's the factory color the car was. So let's see how it fits up here with our aftermarket fender, aftermarket core support. This top piece is original, but the core support itself is aftermarket. So let's see what we get. Hold there. The other one here mocked into place as well. Yeah. Cast. I don't know what the replacement ones are, but these are heavy duty. Alright, on these headlight buckets here, you'll see how you can move it up and down now? There's a little L bracket here. You loosen that up, you can manipulate that around to better fit your situation. Your Chevrolet make millions of these things, okay? El Caminos, wagons, cubes, 4 doors, all kinds. So these front end components, they worked on all the vehicles they had, so they have to make some kind of adjustments in there just so they can accommodate that. And we're going to shut this and see where we're at. We'll be careful here. Alright, now I can see. Now I got my hood here. My hood needs to go back, it's telling me. Alright, this is another reason why we mock all this stuff up, guys and gals. Because you don't want to run into this. Let me get you in here. You don't want to run into this after your car's already painted. Alright, and this car's getting a pretty extensive paint job on it. And what I mean by that, it's not something you're ever going to touch up. Okay, so you don't want this happening after you get the car all painted all situated. Yep, you don't want that. So, I'm gonna get this thing topped up. We're gonna loosen them bolts. We're gonna get that hood set back. What I like to do, because like I tell you, a lot of times by myself, I won't open the hood the whole way. I'll just come in here and loosen these up, just so I'll be able to slide this hood a little bit by myself. Okay? Now you don't want it sloppy loose, okay? You want it to be able to slide but still hold itself with a little bit of friction. And guys and gals, this is part of it. You want a really nice looking car when it's all done, or you want something that looks like it's just been slapped together. You can get a lot of time wrapped up in these cars and not even realize you've done it. Another thing to keep in mind, everything you do here is going to reflect to the rest of the car. Okay, so you get that. See, I got that body line looking half decent. But now my front piece doesn't look so great. Now, like I said, there's an L bracket in there, and obviously I don't have the bolt in there. So let me see if I can get my little tool. Lift this up. Now remember, not tight. So we got our hood pretty much where we want it, spacing wise. I'm going by the edge of the fender and the outside piece here. I'll be able to get that squared up how I like it. Hood's looking good that way. Look good on the gap. Okay. Here you go. See if we can do this without losing our position on our hood. Here's what I do. I just lift it up far enough to where I can get in here and just snug this front bolt up. Alright, don't go crazy, just snug her up. Sometimes with these hoods, you gotta tweak them a little. Looky there. Just need a little loving, that's all. All right, now you can start to see it's coming around. Still need to adjust a little more, but you get the idea there. All right, guys and gals, we're gonna get medieval on this thing. Just kidding. I got a piece of pipe here, okay, pretty thick. So what I'm noticing here when I shut this. All right, if I line this piece up and just across this front of this hood here, look how far down this hood is. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see that. So, what I'm thinking is, who knows? This hood may got bent, blowed over, pushed around, third down, slammed, hard set. So what we're going to do, we're going to take our fancy tool, stick it on the core support, put it under the brace of the hood, okay? Now be mindful. Very little pressure. Dog's talking to me. Get that end bent up. And as you can see, we're getting it there. You don't want to go ham on this thing. Oh yeah. It's starting to come around. It's still got a ways to go, so we're going to move back a little bit. If you're the faint of heart, turn your head. Okay. Sometimes it's what we gotta do. All right. And you can start to see that's slowly working that back up. Oh yeah, much better. Hey, I warned you before I did it. All right, we'll get that final tuned in there, get that detailed out. We'll show you what we got when we're done. Just takes time, guys and gals. You'll be able to get her. And I'm noticing here too, now that we're all over here looking at this, that's bent too. So that might be part of my alignment issue there, but I'll tell you, this is cast aluminum. All right, so don't just go prying on that because that will break. There's a ways of getting that back to its original shape. But this side over here, coming around. Not perfect, but we're coming around. So we'll work on that. Get that all lined out. Get this gal looking good. We're ready to move on to the next step. Yeah, like I said, you can spend a day, 2 days, a week, a month. It could take you a long time, but it's going to be worth it in the long run. And you can see these hoods will move, okay? So that's what you need to find its happy spot and get it there. Alright guys and gals, I think that's going to be it for us today. This thing's whipped us enough for one day. You know why we do it. We're love of hot rods and horsepower. Out there and get yourself a project. Start enjoying them gaps. We'll catch you on the next one.